So a lot of times I see a lot of people, especially here lately, they want to go in, they think of the old time farmer ways where they're going to come in with the hatchet and just whack the head off. Howdy folks, welcome back to Black Sheep Meadow. I'm Brent.
And I'm Amber.
And we got a good one for you today.
Well, we got one for you today.
Somewhat. So today's chicken processing day. And while we understand that the chickens are going to provide excellent nutrition for us throughout the rest of this year, I don't think anybody really cares to just dispatch chickens. So
yeah, no,
it's not the brightest day on the homestead.
No, it's not. It's something that has to be done, but we try to, it's not something that we make happy. So as of right now, there's going to be dead chicken carcasses in this video, so if you are squirmish or don't want to see it, go ahead and tune out. Yes.
For the rest of y'all that want to stay, this is our second chicken processing video this year, where we are going to have a third. And our goal is to have more detail and more information in every video to where y'all can do this on your at home or in your own homesteads.
Right. The main thing here is that we have to be safe and humane with processing the animals. So as we're filming, we're trying to get you as much detail as we can, but there are times where, like today, the temperature is very high.
Correct.
So we're going to go very, very fast, but very, very slow, all at the same time. Correct. So we'll have to take that into account as we're filming, so we'll try to get you guys in there as close as we can.
Yeah. So what our goal is to have a chicken carcass exposed to the ambient temperatures that are outside for as minimal a time as possible. So I'm not going to dispatch the next chicken until Amber's almost ready for the chicken that she's done processing to go in the cooler and start to chill.
That way there's as little exposure to the heat as possible.
So last time, our first round of chickens for the year, we had 14 meat birds, and we came in at a total of 114.75 pounds, averaging 8.2 pounds per bird. This go round, we are at 20 birds, and we're gonna see where we're gonna come out as far as weight today, but this has been a lot warmer temperatures that we're raising these birds in, and I'm actually kind of fond of it over the springtime. I'm doing studies on each one of these this year. We're doing 3 rounds, spring, summer, and fall. This is obviously a summer rotation of birds, but the spring birds, even at 14 birds, actually we had 17 and we lost 3 the last week. The 17 birds consumed almost 320 pounds of food in 7.5 weeks. This time we started off with 24. We lost 4 really early on, like 2 weeks in. And then we've been able to maintain the final 20 for the past, I guess, 4.5 weeks now.
Right.
This batch is 6.5 weeks old. But these birds are something like less than 220 pounds of feed, but I haven't weighed them yet, but they appear to be just shy or just slightly less in weight than what the last batch was.
Which was kind of what we were going for. We thought our last batch went a little bit too heavy. We wanted them just a little bit smaller. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a goal, but you're contributing a lot of the less food. So in the wintertime or the spring, we had a lot of cool nights as far as temperatures, so I had a heat lamp on them, and that heat lamp would allow them to finish eating whatever was in their food tray overnight. Essentially, they would eat on into the midnight hour. This particular time, there was no heat lamp on them, so as soon as it was dark at night, 8:30, 9 o'clock, they were sleeping, they were out. Mm-hmm. So the food that they consumed was able to, I guess, to stay, maybe get a little more digested and, get transferred into the muscle of their body. So it's been very interesting to see.
We'll see.
We've been keeping a fan on them, mm-hmm. So that was different. Instead of a light, we have a fan. And
they've consumed a lot more water. These birds are doing something like, these 20 birds are consuming something like 10 gallons of water every 24 hours, where the 17 birds were doing less than 5 every 24 hours. So it's very interesting to see. It's
very interesting to see. So we're going to just do a quick little rundown again over the tools and equipment that we've got out and kind of how we've got it laid out again this time. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get on to the birds.
Into dispatching. So y'all follow along. All right, so right here is our dispatch rack. Once again, I mentioned before, this is actually a target rack that I use for some pistol shooting that I multi-purpose into a dispatching rack to hang the dispatching cones on. I have 2 different cones. I've got a large chicken cone and then a small turkey cone. Underneath each cone, we have a bucket filled with water. That's going to stop. We're going to collect all of our blood for fertilization purposes. It's an excellent nitrogen fertilizer, but the water that's in the bucket is going to keep the blood from coagulating, so I'll be able to keep it liquid and pour it where I want it. Second, after the bird is dispatched, we're going to go over to a scalder. This is nothing more than a giant crawfish cooker. I've got just a little bit of dish soap in the top of it. That dish soap is going to act as it's going to break the surface tension of the water to where the water can actually scald the quills of the feathers or get down to the skin. Just a little trick that I got up my sleeve there. Then we got our plucker. Oh man, is this thing nice right here. See if anybody can get this out of the sun.
I'm trying. There we go.
So we got our plucker here, and of course this is electrical, so you want to be very careful with the water, getting an extension cord and all that away from the water as we use this. This is a very fantastic machine. This thing will pluck almost all the feathers off that bird, and I want to say less than 15 seconds. After that, we're going to the table. And this is pretty much going to be Amber's area. We have a bucket for the stuff that we're going to disregard to the compost pile, which may be some of the organs, maybe a little bit of the flesh, the heads. Amber's got her gloves. We got two. These are not skinning knives. These are scalpels. They're very sharp. They have replacement blades. They do a very good job. This is a Havilon Peranta. We are adding this time a chicken lung remover. Amber has two different bowls for the different pieces, whether it's gizzards, hearts, or the chicken feet. We save all that for chicken stock or processing, dog food, etc. and so on. We have this is our first ice chest. This is a, I don't know what we call it. This is the first step as soon as we're done with the bird, as far as ready for it to go into the freezer. This particular time, we're going to take a lot of our birds, instead of keeping them whole, we're going to process them down into quarters. But for the first 72 hours, these birds are going to stay at above freezing temperature. We don't want to freeze them, so we're going to keep them 34, 35 degrees. This is the first ice chest. It has a little bit of distilling vinegar in it, so it's going to act as a little bit of an antibacterial. It's also going to shock the bird, get a lot of the temperature off them before we go into the main ice chest and melt all of our ice. But the main ice chest is just full of ice. So we're going to get started. I'm going to get y'all in. I'm going to get one of the birds weighed, and then I'm going to get it on the dispatching cone, and I'm going to check back in with y'all here in just a minute. Okay, so we're not going to do or show any of the actual dispatching, but we are going to talk about it a little bit. I put this Jumbo Cornish Cross into our small turkey cone because they are still just a little bit too large for the large chicken cones that we were sold. The large chicken cones do fine on some of the smaller birds that we've done, whether it's like the Rhode Island Reds or a Barred Rock. But the small turkey cone just does really well for the Jumbo Cornish Cross. They're a lot fatter, and that's just the way they fit in there. So a lot of times I see a lot of people, especially here lately, they want to go in, they think of the old time farmer ways where they're going to come in with a hatchet and just whack the head off. That's actually not a desirable way to do it. You can see we're going to leave this chicken in this cone for about a minute, minute and a half. And what's happening is all the blood in his body is going to rush to his head, which is going to make him relax. As he relaxes, of course, he's going to become a lot calmer. We are not going to sever the spinal cord of that bird. We want the brain of that bird to continue to tell that heart to pump, to discharge all the blood out of its body. So we want to come in and just slice the carotid artery on either side of the jawline and essentially let the body pump all the blood out. So y'all hang in. Okay, we're about 3 minutes after I dispatched the bird now. We're at our scalder, and our scalder temperature is right at 150 degrees, which is, you want to really stay plus or minus just 2 to 3 degrees from that 150, because the goal is to scald the skin just to where it will release the quills of the feathers, not cook the bird. So I'm going to get the bird out of the cone now. I'm going to bring him back over here, and I'll show y'all how we do this.
Reminder, now is the time when you are going to see carcasses, so if you don't like that, go to the next video.
Take our chicken carcass. We're gonna dunk them. Now, being that we're doing 20 birds today, every bird that I put in here is drastically going to reduce the temperature. So about every 3 birds, I have to come and kick the pilot or kick the light back on and fire the heat back up so I can get the temperature back up. Anything below about 140, the hot water starts to not be as what's the word, effective is what I'm looking for. And when we start looking at these feathers, if you can pull them off, if you look at that chicken hindquarter right there, that's pretty good. Yeah, they're coming out pretty dang good right there. I'm just gonna dunk them once or twice more. I'm gonna come over here to the plucker. Head. You can see that plucker did an excellent job, got everything except the tail feathers on that bird. So from here on out, that's some awesome chicken breasts there. From here on out, this is all Amber's job.
Okay guys, as you see, that plucker does an amazing job. Everything but a couple little tail feathers. We'll go ahead and just pull those out real quick. They're usually pretty simple to get. If you've ever gotten a turkey at or chicken at the store, those are always in there. You always have to pull them out, or I do anyway. I guess you don't have to. So there's probably about 1,001 ways to do this. And I'm not gonna try to tell you that one is better than the other. I'm just gonna show you how I do it. So I always first start with the feet. If you put them backwards and then right on that knuckle, you can pop them right off. Simple as that. You just go right between that joint. Nothing to it. It pops right off. You're not really hacking through any of the bone or anything like that. Then my next thing, so that I don't forget, is I take the gland off the back. Some people say you don't have to. I just prefer to get the gland off. I think it's just an old wives' tale for me. But I take the gland off. It goes into the pile that goes into the compost. Then I start at the back of the bird. I'm going to make...
Maybe I should bring it around this way where they can see better.
Okay.
But go ahead and finish.
Okay.
I'll do the next one that way.
Okay. I'm going to make one slit kind of across the back here, just below that breastbone, just to get into the cavity. Just to kind of get in there, open that up. Then I'm going to make one slit down each side to the back of the tail, to the base of the tail on either side of the opening. So I'm essentially making like a V down to the base of the tail. And I usually don't cut my tails off. I like them on my whole chickens. When we process them down into quarters, I do, you know, that's part of the back. It goes into stock. But when I leave a chicken whole, there's kind of a, half the people want to leave the tail, half the people don't. I usually do, just because I think it's more flavor. And then I'm going to cut just across the base of that tail. So I've pretty much made a little flap around the opening at the tail. The nice way to say that. Now I'm just kind of loosening up everything from the bone on the back side without cutting anything. That's the hope. Sorry, I get a little quiet because I'm concentrating. I'm not trying to make sure it's all loose there. I'm going to come to the front. To me, the front is way more difficult than the back on a chicken. And I don't know why. I think it's just a mental thing for me. But try. This is only my second one, and I feel like it takes me about 3 or 4, and then I got a rhythm down, and there's no stopping me. So I'm kind of opening up around that neck bone, and I'm separating it from the meat. You'll hear it kind of gurgling. It's got air in it. Separate it from that meat and that skin. There we go. And I'm just using my fingers. I'm not even using a knife right now. Just kind of separating it from that sack that's there. Separate. When I get to the end, sometimes I use the knife just because you don't. There we go. Looks pretty. Okay, good. Okay. Once I know it's all separated from both the neck and the breast side. So I basically got, there's two tubes that run up here, and I've got them both separated from both the neck bone and the skin, or the breast meat, the bone that's right there, the breastbone. Once I get them all separated nice and as far down in there as my fingers will reach anyway. Kind of, probably like I said, this is the part I struggle with the most just because it's small and I feel like I miss it. Okay, so now I come back to the front. This is the kind of gross part. I'm just using my fingers and I'm just separating everything from the inside, from the cavity wall. I usually feel for the heart about this time and I'll remove the heart. And then I'm gonna pull everything out this side. There we go. Everything from the front is coming. There it goes. There we go. A little bit not. This won't go in this pile. And then this is where you would normally use your fingers to get rid of the lungs. But we're trying out this fancy tool that Brent got me. We're gonna see how well it does. If it's better than my fingers. Well, I mean, it's doing a dang good job, that is for sure. Check it out, Brent.
Was it worth it?
I think so. I don't know how much this little tool was, but...
Oh, it was ridiculously expensive.
Really?
It was one of the cheaper ones I found too. I think that was like, I think it was $29.
For this little thing? But
Yeah, for that
man,
little thing, yep.
I mean, that's all the lungs. I mean, it did a really, really good job of that. So now, for it to sit, it's essentially done. I'm gonna rinse it off really well. I don't want to get the camera all wet, sorry. I'm gonna rinse it off really well, and then it's gonna go into the shock tank or the sanitizing water to cool it down a little bit for a few minutes. Then it'll go on to ice. So I think here we're gonna set you guys up on a time lapse. And we're gonna get to town so that these birds get on ice as fast as we can. Hi guys, welcome back to another day. As you can tell, we got all the meat chickens done last night.
Yep.
It got dark on us, so we were working into the night hours, so we couldn't film a closer to give you our final tallies and everything. Last night we got most everything cleaned up, at least rinsed off. This morning we're sanitizing everything and getting it put away for the next batch this fall.
This fall, yep. So this batch of birds we had, if you recall, the first batch of birds we did this spring, we got 114.75 pounds out of 14 birds. This time we have 20 birds for this summer's batch, and we did 122.75 pounds. Our average bird weight this round was 6.1, so birds were considerably smaller, put on less weight, and that which it's actually fine because they consumed a lot less feed. We were actually desiring a smaller bird where they're a little more tender.
For kitchen purposes, if you are cook like me, you kind of prefer a little bit smaller bird. The meat just tastes better. It's a little bit more tender. Well, our meat tastes better. Those 8-pound chickens tasted amazing. So I'm not going to say necessarily taste better, but just a little bit more manageable cooking. Cooking times are a little bit less, so you can kind of get stuff. I prefer a little bit smaller chicken, so that was really the goal, and I think we succeeded. Really,
the math is actually quite simple on it. To consume 33% less feed and have only 25% less total product weight, we're actually better off.
We're probably saving a lot more money.
So I haven't done the cost per pound yet, which I got a lot of stats I'll go over, and we'll figure that out.
Yeah, so. But the average weight, did you say what the average weight was?
6.11 pounds, yep.
So a little over 6 pounds, which I think is perfect. But this is, I pulled one out of the ice box or ice chest this morning, but just to kind of show y'all how pretty they came out. They came out really, really nice. I was really, really happy with them. The tool that Brent bought, the lung removal tool, he told me that it was very expensive, but I kind of think it's worth it. It does a really good clean job of getting all of that lung material out very quickly. So I'm happy with that.
So
are you happy with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Every time that we do it, we save and look for better ways and better methods of doing it each time. So
trying to improve, and hopefully that's what we're doing for y'all, is giving you some at least food for thought and show you that it's not as complicated.
A little tidbit, y'all can see here behind us the 2 ice chests that we are not using to store our birds for the next 72 hours. Cleaning ice chests has always been a pain in the rear for me. One of the easiest methods that I found is go ahead and wash it out with the water hose, put roughly 1 cup of bleach or Clorox in it, and fill it up about 1/3 of the way with regular water. Just right out of the water hose. Put it in the bed of the truck and drive around for 3 days.
Yep, it sloshes it around. The sun, if it's sunny outside, heats it up.
Yep.
Then when you clean it out, you drain it out and you rinse it, and it's perfect.
Yep, right up into the loft of the garage it goes.
It's perfect. So
guys, in the meantime, if y'all like our videos, subscribe to the channel, like today's video, share us on all of your social media if you can. That's the best way to get us out there.
Yep. If you have any questions, let us know down below in the comments.
Yep.
And between the last video and this video, we've hit 600 subscribers.
Yep.
Which is awesome. Thank you.
So become ungovernable, get off the system, become self-sufficient, do things for yourself. We'll see y'all next week.
We'll see you next week.